Hey folks, want to come on here and shoot another solo episode. This one is going to be about the concept of thinking big, or from the book The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, PhD, over 6 million copies sold. The classic international bestseller, The True Secret of Success, How to Earn More, Lead Fearlessly, and Live a Happier Life. This isn't too much about, we'll get into it in a sec. Belief triggers the power to do. In his seminal self-help masterpiece, Dr. David Schwartz not only motivates and inspires, he gets to the very core of why thinking big will make you live big. Ever wondered and doubted how positive thinking actually works? Then you need to read his book. More than 6 million people worldwide have and changed their lives. Now you can too. Practical, engaging, highly empowering. Schwartz's step-by-step approach will show you how to defeat disbelief and the negative power it creates, make your mind produce positive thoughts, plan a concrete success building program, do more and do it better, turn on your creative power, capitalize on the power of now. First published in 1959 and now updated for the 21st century, this is your go-to guide to a better life, with the way you think. A renowned strategist, David Schwartz, PhD, was a professor at Georgia State University in Atlanta and the president of the Creative Educational Services, Inc., a consulting firm specializing in leadership development. He is still regarded as one of the foremost experts on motivation. The reason why I wanted to get into this is I mentioned the previous podcast. Over the last 10 years, I've sort of read one book a month. Unintentionally, it was just the power of consistency and the habit that has led me to this point, and it has changed and transformed a lot of areas in my life, including academics. The concept of thinking big really builds on what we've been talking about on the other solo podcasts around mindset, including grit, but mainly unlocking the potential of the power of mindset, the work of Dr. Carol S. Dweck around the growth mindset and the concept of growth and fix, which is number 35, episode 35. Number 36, the power of resilience, adapting to life's challenges, which we talked about the Ross Edge's book, The Art of Resilience. The podcast 37, The Pursuit of Excellence with Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron, key principles, which we went into, and this one about thinking big by David Schwartz. So for me, I don't know about if you're listening out there or watching on YouTube and Spotify. You can also watch on Spotify. If you're in the car, I eventually will move this over to Apple Podcasts, hopefully in the next few weeks. I've noticed that sometimes you can get bogged down by one's environment or your environment or my environment, and it's very easy to just see what's possible or see what's going on around you and say, oh, I can only do that, or I can only do so, I'll never be able to do that, or I'll never be able to do this. I'll never be able to, if I want to go into achievement, I'll never be able to pursue this goal. I'll never be able to get this outcome in my life. I'll never be able to, I'm only so smart. We talked about this in the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset, that things in my life, they won't change. The situation won't get better. And now I will go on to say that I'm not a psychologist, so I don't want to get too much into this, but I just want to talk about personal experience and a bit about David Schwartz's work. That for me, the power of mindset, which you went into with Dr. Carol S. Dweck's work about the growth mindset, is it's possible to change. It's possible, things can get better in life, and you can go back and listen to it on episode 30, I just mentioned it, episode 35. So yeah, we'll talk about the magic of thinking big, about David Schwartz's work, PhD, and super interesting, especially. You hear people talk about dreamers or out there, the slogan that "impossible is nothing" by Usain Bolt. Let me just. Or TU Dublin have an expression, "infinite possibilities." Impossible is nothing is a famous motivational slogan popularized by Adidas, stemming from 1974 quote by Muhammad Ali. So I don't think it's Usain Bolt's one. Nothing is impossible. You see one by David Beckham as well, sharing a story. Or Think Different by, I think that's by Apple. Yeah, Think Different. They have a whole campaign around that, and super fascinating because it's very easy you, to sit there and have all these thoughts about great things in life, but actual an action plan to get there, which we've mentioned on a number of different podcasts. Grit being a very important one about how to have passion and perseverance for a long term vision in life. And that's episode 20. So you can go back and take a look, but we're 5 minutes in, so I think I'll get into the concept of David Schwartz's book about thinking big. So, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, PhD, is one of the classic, and I know the back of these books are quite off putting for some, talking about how to, this whole success and happier life and leading fearlessly. Some people and earning more, some people can be turned off about those things, and that can be that's okay. You're not probably the only one in that category, but I'd encourage you to go back and listen to some of the other solo episodes about mindset, and then I suppose we'll get into it. That maybe change your perspective on a few things, or if not, that's no problem. But let's get into this show. So to reiterate, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz, PhD, is one of the classic foundational books on mindset, success psychology, and personal achievement. First published in 1959, it remains popular because its ideas are simple, practical, and extremely applicable today. Here's a clean, detailed breakdown. Core message of the book: you don't need to be smarter, luckier, or more talented to be successful. You just need to think bigger. And we already touched upon what success means. I think it's achieving an outcome, or an aim or outcome in one of the other episodes. I probably have to go back and look. Let me just do this real quick. Success is a concept that can be defined in many ways depending on personal values, culture, and context. Broadly speaking, success is the achievement of a goal, purpose, or desired outcome. However, it's not limited to external accomplishments like wealth, status, or awards. It also can include personal growth, happiness, fulfillment, or making a positive impact on others. Here's a breakdown of common dimensions of success: personal achievement, fulfillment and happiness, growth and learning, impact on others, balance and well-being. Yeah, we'll go back to where we were. So the core message of the book: you don't need to be smarter, luckier, or more talented to be successful. You just need to think bigger. And what I mean by, we'll get into thinking bigger means in a sec. Your mindset determines how you act, what opportunities you notice, what goals you set, how persistent you are. Thinking, big actions, big results. Key ideas from The Magic of Thinking Big. Number one, believe you can succeed and you will. Belief is the starter engine of success. When you truly believe something is possible, your brain starts finding ways to make it happen. Small belief, small effort; big belief, big effort. Number two, cure yourself of. One sec, let me just this up. I need to laugh, but this is a few times where. Sec. Still got on time. I think it's cure yourself of excuses. Uh, Hopefully, this advertising cost. Great thing about long form audio. Excusitis. Interesting. Cure yourself of excusitis. Schwartz says most people fail not because of lack of ability, because of excuses. Quote, I'm too old. Quote, I'm too young. Quote, I don't have the education. Quote, I don't know the right people. Excuses shrink your world. Removing excuses expands it. Number three, build confidence and destroy fear. Fear disappears when you take action. Confidence grows through confronting small fears, practicing skills, preparing thoroughly, thinking positively about yourself. Number 4, think and dream creatively. Don't ask, can I do this? Ask, how can I do this? Creativity grows when you think beyond tradition, beyond limiting beliefs, beyond what others around you accept as normal. Number 5, you are what you think you are. Your self-image determines your behavior. Act important, dress well, carry yourself with confidence. Your inner state changes based on your outer actions. Number 6, manage your environment. Your environment shapes your thinking. Avoid negative people, small thinkers, complainers. Seek optimists, ambitious people, those who encourage big goals. Number 7, make your attitude your allies. A positive attitude multiplied by consistent actions attract opportunities, people, energy, luck. I may do a podcast on luck. People naturally follow positive-minded leaders. Number 8, turn defeat into victory. Successful people aren't those who avoid problems. They are ones who learn, adapt, and persist. Schwartz says it's not how far you fall, but how high you bounce that counts. Number 9, set goals and back them with action. Thinking big requires clear goals, deadlines, daily actions, which is daily action, accountability. You become successful by direction, not by accident, which is super interesting. This is the second or third time we've encountered the concept of daily action, daily routine, not weekly or monthly or yearly or annually, but the thought that if you want to achieve a goal in life, that the best way to achieve those goals is through, or the best way to achieve an outcome is through daily actions, not weekly or monthly or yearly, or which we already got into. Number 10, think like a leader. Leadership isn't a title, it's a behavior. Take initiative, solve problems, be kind, give people confidence, think long term, believe bigger than others do. Why this book still matters? It works because it deals with mindset, which is timeless. When you believe big, remove excuses, upgrade your environment, act with confidence, your life starts changing in ways that feel almost magical. And yeah, that's super, super interesting. For me personally, and I'd probably leave this on a bit of a takeaway, but there's one thing if you want to take from this. What I do is, in order for me to learn how to think big, is, and we'll probably do another podcast on goal setting. I know daily actions and daily routines are another thing that's popped up a lot, but for me, one practice that I use to help me thinking big is definitely reading, going to the cinema, and allowing myself to watch movies or not be limited by certain beliefs that I have or environments, to be able to consume content that allows me to look into different things in life, different interests that I have. But I noticed that first thing in the morning or late in the evening, what I like to do is I like to have different goals that I have in life, and I like to look at them, and that allows me to keep my eye on a vision and to think big. And I know most people may not do it, but that's something that I do, and it's helped me tremendously over the last 10 years, 12 years. I used to not do it, but I picked it up, the habit, in, so maybe not 10 years, I think it's 2016 and 17. And it has done wonders for me in my life. So I thought I'd end on that. And it's allowed me to think big, especially when others around me may be having conversations where if you find your I don't want to sound very motivational, but maybe this is, if you found you're around people or in environments where the conversations don't really light you up, or they're not positive, or they're talking maybe bad about others, maybe using the early in the morning or late in the evenings for your goals or vision for your own life is super inspiring, and helps you think big. So that's what I thought I'd leave it on. And yeah, we'll end there.